The girl carelessly bumped into a man, getting lipstick on his white shirt. But he didn't mind, because he had more important things to do. "Excuse me, let me help you with that." "No need. Then I'll buy you another one." "No need to." The girl was stunned by his words. How can there be a man like this? She had no idea their fate had only just begun. Chinyu had just arrived at the company when she saw that her boyfriend of 10 years dared to cheat on her. Heartbroken, she went to a bar to drink, and coincidentally, the man from that morning saw her, as he was a shareholder of this bar and was forced to help. Seeing this, Chinyu reached out and touched his shirt. "Where's my lipstick stain? Now I have to buy you another new one." Boss Missouri angrily pushed her away. "Hey, please have some self-respect." The more he said that, the more Chinyu pressed on, placing her hand on his shoulder. Boss Missouri saw she was dead drunk and decided to take her home. But Chinyu said even if she had a home, she couldn't go back, the reason being her boyfriend of 10 years cheated on her. But Boss Missouri wasn't in the mood to care about her love life and wanted to call the police, but Chinyu pulled him forward and then leaned on his shoulder and fell asleep. As a result, she woke up to find herself sleeping in a hotel. She immediately picked up the items on the floor, quickly put on her clothes, and then rushed to the company for work. But she didn't expect that the company's new investor was Boss Missouri. All the scenes from last night flooded back. Boss Missouri took her to the hotel, and she mistook Boss Missouri for a cheating boyfriend, taking the opportunity of her drunken rage to grab the shower head and drench Boss Missouri, leaving him soaking wet. Boss Missouri, annoyed, carried her to the bed. Standing up and about to take off his wet shirt to shower, he unexpectedly felt Chinyu hug him from behind. Boss Missouri angrily pushed her down onto the bed. The two were perfectly aligned, coincidentally touching lips. It was then that Chinyu finally behaved. Thinking back now, it truly was a fated encounter. After the meeting ended, the boss told her to see Boss Missouri off. As they waited for the elevator, Boss Missouri couldn't help but speak. "Your face looks a bit familiar, but I don't know where I've seen you before." Then Boss Missouri must have mistaken me for someone else. She thought that was the end of it, but before entering the elevator, Boss Missouri said, "General Manager, you still haven't paid me for the room." At that moment, she stood frozen, staring blankly at Boss Mo's mocking smile. Now she couldn't focus on work. Boss Mo's words echoed in her ears. "General Manager, you still haven't paid me for the room." With no other choice, she proactively added Boss Missouri as a friend, noting room payment. General Manager remembered last night's events. Just pay the debt and hopefully this matter will pass. She found that Boss Missouri didn't accept her friend request at all. She didn't bother with overtime anymore, taking cash to the bar. Last time, she had asked a sister to relay a message, and coincidentally, another girl came looking for Boss Missouri there. Chinyu was even more certain. This Boss Missouri was not a good person. She needed to quickly establish boundaries with him. Meanwhile, Boss Missouri saw in the group chat, "Is our MO Ling only worth this much money? Looks like the service wasn't up to par. No wonder people say they don't want to be involved with him." But he didn't want to cut ties between the two of them so quickly. He accepted Chinyu's friend request, first sending her an address and telling her to come there. Did Boss Missouri send the wrong address? She had already paid. Unexpectedly, right after that, her best friend brought an envelope, and when she opened it, it was the cash she had paid. She didn't know what this man ultimately wanted. So, when they finished work and waited for the elevator, both of them tacitly stood still. "General Manager, is there something wrong? I hope you can forget what happened before." What if the memory is too profound to forget? To quickly clarify their relationship, Chinyu had to agree to his request to play an escape room game with him. As long as they passed the level, it would be considered a clean slate for that night. But Chinyu was most afraid of playing these types of games. Yet in front of Boss Missouri, she couldn't show weakness. So, the two successfully made a pact, but after just one level, Chinyu was already trembling and accidentally fell. And so on, until the challenge time ran out and they failed. Welcome next time, level failed. Chinyu felt that he didn't want to clarify their relationship at all, but rather wanted to embarrass her. Did he want to just forget it? Because that incident shouldn't have happened. But things didn't develop the way she wanted. Her best friend, Fong Chi, came to find her that morning, wanting her to participate in a masked ball, saying that maybe she would find someone suitable there, which would help her get over her heartbreak faster. She even helped Chinyu with her makeup and styling. The situation was quite coincidental. This ball happened to be at Boss Mo's bar, organized by CU, who always liked Boss Missouri. She even prepared a surprise for everyone. Each person had a number plate, and soon, 2 people would be drawn to become exclusive partners. Tonight, the numbers drawn are 99 and 17. Yours is 99. Congratulations. Hurry up. Where is our number 99? Here. You're crazy, aren't you? This is such a good opportunity. The sisters are giving it to you. She pushed Chinyu and encouraged her to go. What Chinyu completely didn't expect was that number 17 was Boss Missouri, the person she least wanted to see. Next, the two of them had to play a duet together, making CU furious. She wanted to go up and sabotage it, but was stopped by Wang Ji. This huge benefit was torture for Qingyu. She didn't know how to play any instrument, and it was with great difficulty that she managed until the music ended. She waited until almost everyone at the ball had left before approaching Boss Missouri to transfer money directly to him. Now we're even. Besides, you and I are not the same kind of people. I have a fiancé. You're a fiancé, ignoring your 10 years of relationship to cheat. Have you forgotten? How do you know about my business? You drank a lot that night and told me everything while hugging me. No matter what I said, we're done now. I hope we're no longer involved. But Qingyu quickly regretted it. Recently, she had to work on a program where she would meet ideal role models. I need to find excellent men in various professions. The general boss said, that isn't there one right in front of us? Boss Missouri is beyond our reach. We can't get to him. I didn't expect to be so highly regarded by Manager Yu. Of course, she quickly got slapped in the face. She rushed from the company to the studio, but the model who was previously scheduled couldn't make it due to a stomachache. In this urgent situation, the assistant couldn't find a suitable person temporarily, so they recommended Boss Missouri to her. Out loud, she said absolutely no way. But in a blink of an eye, she went to a secluded place and called Boss Missouri, inviting him in a sweet voice to join. Didn't Manager Yu say before that I was too high to reach? How is it that after just a few days, you've lowered me to your level? She just held back her anger and continuously begged him for help. Finally, he gave her a chance. Am I your ideal role model? The situation is too urgent now. Qing, you could only lie. Of course, you are my ideal role model. Sorry, I have a meeting and can't make it. Qingyu was furious. She said so much, but in the end, she was still rejected. She could only think of other ways to find more suitable models. But although they found a bunch, the director didn't like any of them, and this film had to be completed today. Just when they didn't know what to do, Boss Missouri changed his mind and came to participate. He truly was their savior. With Boss Mo's handsome looks, this little bit of work was nothing to him. And most importantly, the director was very satisfied. Boss Missouri also took this opportunity to ask Qingyu to adjust his clothes, saving the entire film set. Thank you, Boss Missouri. I'm a meticulous person. I charge by the second, so I've never owed anyone a favor. After filming, Qingyu invited him to a meal to thank him. When they arrived, Boss Missouri found out it was a fast food restaurant. Given that, Boss Missouri subtly took off his jacket and draped it over Qingyu's legs. Although his action was warm, Qingyu found him very dangerous. How can someone be so secretive and not reveal anything about their thoughts? What do you mean? You and I are not on the same level. I hope my life doesn't have too many surprises anymore. I hope that from now on, we establish clear boundaries and don't get involved with each other anymore. This made him very distressed. After returning to the bar and looking at the dance floor in front of him, the scene of him playing the piano with Qingyu couldn't help but appear in his mind. He silently made a decision. He had to pursue Qingyu. But he didn't expect Qingyu to reconcile with her ex-boyfriend, who even came to the company to bring her a love bento. Qingyu introduced the two men. This is our company's investor, Boss Missouri Yun Shi. I've admired you for a long time. Lawyer Yun is here for... Oh, I forgot to introduce Qingyu, my fiancé. Boss Mo's head buzzed. He hadn't even officially started his pursuit, and his cards were already revealed. After Yun Shi left, his heart shattered. I can't believe that just a few days ago, you were so heartbroken over the breakup, and in the blink of an eye, you two have reconciled. It's all because of my father. Yun Shi is a student he personally taught, and he always highly regarded him. Knowing we broke up, my father started leaning towards Yun Shi. Everyone makes mistakes in life. As long as he knows his mistakes and corrects them, it's fine. Marriage is living with a suitable person. Clinging to each other all day isn't realistic. When you were in college, you had a high fever and pneumonia, and Yunshi gave up an opportunity to study abroad to take care of you. Only his family didn't know this. Hearing her father's words, she wavered a bit. Plus Yunshi took out an agreement. In their freshman year, Yunshi missed an interview because he watched the sunrise with her. Qingyu then made this immunity card. If you make me angry in the future, just take this out and I'll forgive you. At that time, they even stamped their fingerprints. Unexpectedly, her boyfriend actually took out that agreement, but he didn't ask Qingyu for forgiveness. Instead, he tore the agreement right in front of her. I still like you as before, but I don't want to force you. I agree to break up. When he said that, Qingyu softened. After crying in the restroom for a while, she decided to give him another chance since she had already agreed to him once. Fangqi was furious when she found out. Cheating is either once or countless times. Does a joke from when you were young really need to be taken seriously? But at that time, Qingyu was serious. After all, they've been together for so many years, she wants to give each other a chance. Fangqi saw that she couldn't convince her, so she just let her be, but hoped that Yunshi wouldn't disappoint her. As soon as she arrived at the company, Siyu, who liked Boss Missouri, came looking for her. Sister, why don't you just back off? In Mo Ling's heart, there's only me. Even though Qing Yu continuously explained to her that it was only a work relationship with Boss Missouri and nothing else, she didn't believe her and caused a scene in the office, disrupting other people's work. Qing Yu immediately dragged her into the restroom and gave her a stern lecture. If a man needs to be fought over, he's not a good choice. Siyu, who is usually sharp-tongued, now faced Qing Yu and didn't know how to retort, so she just slunk away. Qing Yu also accidentally twisted her ankle due to her agitated state. She limped to report on her work to Boss Missouri. Boss Missouri noticed her foot as soon as he saw it. "What's wrong with your foot?" She just turned to leave, but Boss Missouri called her back. "If it's a work-related injury, I'm responsible." "Yes, you are responsible, but not to me. Please resolve your personal matters and don't involve others." Boss Missouri was stunned by her words, but he still insisted on taking her to the hospital, giving Qing Yu no chance to refuse. At the hospital, he even thoughtfully bought her flat shoes and bent down to put them on for her, telling Qing Yu not to worry. "I've warned Siyu. She won't bother you anymore." Next, as he was about to tie her shoelaces, her boyfriend called. Hearing she twisted her ankle, he immediately came to pick her up. After hanging up, she told Boss Missouri to leave first. "Manager Yu, wait for your boyfriend." But he didn't leave. He waited at the hospital entrance, seeing that it was already late and her boyfriend still hadn't appeared. Finally, he couldn't resist driving to her. "Where's your boyfriend? Are you looking for someone quickly?" Qing Yu didn't want to pay attention to him and limped away, but Boss Missouri stood behind her, pulled her back, gave her no chance to retort, carried her on his shoulder, opened the car door, and put her inside. "Manager Yu, don't you want to interact with me?" He asked for her home address, but Qing Yu said she had to go to the company for overtime and thanked him for the ride. "From now on, we're even." But this was just her personal decision and didn't represent Boss Missouri. Now he couldn't eat or sleep. Before, when Qing Yu was single, he had an excuse to pursue her, but now that she and her boyfriend had reconciled, he couldn't forget Qing Yu. "Director." Suddenly, he pulled an employee into the storage room from behind. Qing Yu angrily pushed him away. "What are you doing? Explain yourself clearly. I don't like to be misunderstood by people." What is there to explain? If the item hasn't been given yet, what's there to say? But as she left, her shirt got caught in a box and ripped. Boss Missouri saw it and gently took off his jacket, putting it on her. It was also because Boss Missouri repeatedly showed concern for her that Qing Yu's feelings for her boyfriend gradually faded. When she wanted the company to return Boss Mo's jacket, she met Yin Shi. "Why are you here?" Afraid he would misunderstand, she stammered, unsure how to explain. "Are you here to return my jacket?" Qing Yu immediately tensed up, but fortunately, Boss Missouri said, "Next time you film a commercial, don't let the costumes have problems again." Her boyfriend wasn't foolish. He immediately declared his ownership and then held Qing Yu's hand as they left, his purpose clearly evident. But Boss Missouri was not someone who would give up easily. He chased Qing Yu to the parking lot because he wanted to know why Qing Yu had been nervous earlier. Actually, she didn't want anything else to happen. Anyway, Yin Shi's your boyfriend now, so it's a bit troublesome. Try to avoid it if you can. Do you think I'm troublesome? Yes, in a big trouble. However, Qing Yu was quickly proven wrong. Ever since the promotional photos for meeting the ideal role model were released, they immediately went viral, and netizens demanded more photos. The person with the highest popularity was Boss Missouri. She thought Boss Missouri was a busy person and modest, so he probably wouldn't agree to more photos. But then she remembered the company wanted to cut staff, and to save her department, she had committed to the boss that her KPI would increase by 30% within 3 months, otherwise she would resign. Thinking this, her pride no longer mattered. Coincidentally, her boyfriend called to gift hairy crabs to her department, and Yinshi's thoughtful gesture was praised by the boss. "Once I've received something, whether it's a case or a person, I won't lose it." He was very confident in himself, but he didn't expect that the hairy crabs he kindly gave to Qing Yu were immediately considered by Qing Yu as a gift for Boss Missouri, but he flat out refused, and Siyu even mocked her. "Looks like you gave your heart to the wrong person," which annoyed Qing Yu so much that she didn't even greet him the next time they met. Boss Missouri had a reason for refusing the gift. When his mother was alive, she loved making hairy crabs the most, but after she passed away, he stopped eating them, which immediately cut Qing Yu's anger in half. But back at the company, the boss came to see her. "Your boyfriend Yin, she has sued our company. The reason is that they unfairly laid off employees." Qing Yu angrily went to find him. "Using my name to sue my company. Did you consult me about this? You never consulted me about your work before, either. But things are different now. There's a rift in their relationship. Even though they've reconciled, Qing Yu still holds a grudge. Besides, she has more important things to do right now, which is to ask Boss Missouri to cooperate with her for promotional photos, but she can't reach him by phone." Qing Yu is determined to get Boss Missouri to agree. "So I want to ask Manager Yu, how far are you willing to go for my help?" He slowly cornered her, causing Qing Yu to accidentally fall into the pool. Seeing this, Boss Missouri immediately jumped into the pool and carried her up. Their close proximity made both their heartbeats quicken. Although Qingyu always pushed him away, she had to admit that Boss Missouri was handsome and warm. If it were any other girl, who wouldn't be moved? At the same time, her best friend Fang Qi was also going on blind dates, planning to get married before turning 30. Sue always liked to cause trouble for her, scaring away her blind dates. Fang Qi angrily scolded him. "What are you doing causing trouble?" "It's because I'm worried about my sister that I told myself to come and make sure you don't get tricked." Qingyu was so busy, yet she still didn't forget to care about her best friend. In the evening, she went up to the company's observation deck to watch a commercial, but suddenly the power went out. It was dark, and she accidentally twisted her ankle again. Just then, Yinshi called, "What's wrong? Where are you?" "I'm on the observation deck across from the company." Qingyu had only said half when her phone suddenly ran out of battery. At the same time, Boss Missouri also received a message. Qingyu is upstairs. The power is out across the street. Knowing Qingyu was in danger, but her phone couldn't be reached, he worried about her and climbed 20 flights of stairs to find Qingyu. But when Qingyu asked him why he came, he said it was to check the commercial. "If there's any mistake in the commercial, I'll be the one who loses out." She knew something happened to her. Although he also rushed over, when he heard the receptionist say the observation deck was on the 20th floor, he didn't go up immediately. Instead, he waited on the first floor for Qingyu to come down. Seeing her with Boss Missouri, he even got jealous. "Boss Missouri, why are you here too? Why can't I be here?" Boss Missouri is here to check the commercial. I didn't expect Boss Missouri to be so daring, checking on work even with a power outage. No wonder he's so successful. Boss Missouri was a responsible person, unlike a scoundrel like him, who didn't do well himself but always made demands. He didn't like Qingyu and Boss Missouri being too close. Qingyu also agreed to try to keep her distance from him, but they had a work relationship, so future contact was unavoidable. Yunshi, wanting to assert his presence, deliberately called Qingyu, asking her to send documents to the company, then used dinner as an excuse to take her to meet Boss Missouri and Boss Liu. Boss Missouri immediately understood Yunshi's intention. He clearly wanted him to know when to retreat. At the dinner table, in front of Boss Missouri, he not only held Qingyu's hand, but also added a piece of salmon with mustard for her. But Qingyu put it aside and took another piece. Everything did not escape Boss Mo's watchful eye. So next, Yinshi asked him, "What kind of girl do you like? The one who doesn't like mustard?" Then he looked at Qingyu. Unexpectedly, Qingyu picked up the salmon with mustard and put it in her mouth, then puckered her lips at Yunshi, making Boss Missouri very angry, even chasing her into the restroom. "If you clearly don't like it, why force yourself? You two have been in love for 10 years, and he doesn't even realize you don't like mustard. Is a relationship like this worth maintaining?" But this was Qingyu's business, and she didn't want an outsider like him interfering. At this moment, hearing her boyfriend coming to find her, Qingyu panicked and wanted Boss Missouri to hide temporarily. Unexpectedly, Boss Missouri pulled her into the restroom. "If he truly trusts you, you don't need to hide." At this point, her boyfriend had already entered and was checking each door. As he was about to reach their hiding spot, Qingyu was so scared she barely dared to breathe. Yinshi was about to open the door, but luckily his phone rang, stopping him. "Let's just stop here." Actually, Boss Missouri didn't want this either, but he couldn't control himself. On the way back, Boss Mo's words echoed in her ears, and Qingyu had to admit that his words made sense. But Yunshi kept bad-mouthing Boss Missouri. He must have used shady tactics to reach his current position. "You must be careful if you cooperate with him," he hinted to Qingyu. Then he arranged to meet Boss Missouri and went straight to the point. "Qingyu and I are both nostalgic. We've been together for 10 years. We've overcome good times together. How many years does one person get? She won't waver easily." Boss Missouri also had a way to counter. Smart people know when to cut their losses. People must look forward. They can't live forever in the past. Tying someone to one place is not a long-term plan. Yunshi then warned Boss Missouri. Some things are not done legitimately. Don't lose your integrity as a person and ruin your reputation. But Boss Missouri saw that in investments, the positions of the receiver and the recipient change very quickly. So, you should reevaluate your position. In this confrontation, Boss Missouri had the upper hand, but Yunshi was not far behind. In the evening after work, he came to pick up Qingyu, inviting her to his house for dinner. He wanted his mother to pressure Qingyu. "Qingyu, have you set a wedding date yet? Why haven't you bought wedding rings? You can say I'm careless about other things, but wedding rings are important. I was truly careless. I should pay more attention." He knew that Qingyu, who was always filial, wouldn't upset her elders. His mother also noticed that Qingyu was a little different than usual. "Are you two arguing?" He told his mother not to worry. "I've planned everything. I will definitely marry Qingyu this year. If I can't even handle this small matter, how can I control my own life?" But this time, he overestimated himself. He didn't bother to discuss it with Qingyu and went to buy wedding rings alone. Coincidentally, Boss Missouri saw him after meeting a client. Rivals meeting are bound to cause friction. Yunshi spoke first. We've set the wedding date. You must come then. But according to Boss Missouri, such an important thing should be done by both of them together. Sometimes what you think you understand might not be true. Boss Mo's blatant challenge once again angered him. In the days that followed, he picked Chinyu up and dropped her off at work every day and bought her favorite cappuccino, unaware that Chinyu had already changed her taste. What was more, he had already planned Chinyu's weekend. Attend a partner's wedding in the morning, visit his mother in the afternoon, and then the two of them will stroll through the shopping mall in the evening. But Chinyu had been very tired from work lately and wanted to rest at home for the weekend. If work pressure is too great, why don't you reconsider resigning and becoming Mrs. Yun at home? But ever since he cheated, Chinyu no longer felt the same way about him as before. She felt Yunshi's concern was a burden. The scene of the two of them getting out of the car together was witnessed by Boss Missouri, who was discussing work nearby, and he felt annoyed. When the two of them waited for the elevator, Boss Missouri didn't even bother to greet them and went into the elevator alone to his office. Her mother called her again. Yunshi's mother has arrived and wants to discuss your wedding with Yunshi. Chinyu made an excuse of being busy and hung up. Yunshi's step-by-step pressure made her feel suffocated, and she decided to talk to him properly. He wasn't foolish. He knew Chinyu wanted to reject him, so he chose to avoid her. Chinyu understood his personality too well after 10 years of loving each other. His daily schedule was always meticulously planned and couldn't be affected by sudden changes. At this time, Boss Missouri was also drowning his sorrows in alcohol, reminiscing about the times they were close, going to and from work together. Moreover, he had already bought the ring, so he decided to let go and not suffer anymore. But when he saw Chinyu's disheveled appearance in the rain, "Give me your umbrella," he couldn't help but go and shelter her with his umbrella, bending down to pick up her dropped items. At this moment, he truly understood his feelings. His love for Chinyu couldn't be stopped just by saying so. Unaware that she was alone at the printing house in the suburbs, he drove there in the middle of the night and stayed with her all night. As for Yunshi, he only talked the talk and never truly understood what Chinyu wanted. Compared this way, Boss Missouri was 1,000 times better than him. At the same time, she also let down her guard with Boss Missouri. So when she learned he had an accident while meeting a client, she immediately asked her boss for leave and rushed to the scene through the heavy rain. She ignored the staff trying to stop her and rushed in. My family is in there." But she went in, looked at all the injured people and cars, and couldn't find any sign of Boss Missouri. She called Boss Missouri again. "It's me. Why didn't you answer earlier? My phone ran out of battery earlier." Knowing he was okay, she finally sighed in relief. Boss Missouri immediately realized Chinyu was nearby. He got out of the car and indeed saw her. He walked over and hugged Chinyu tightly. "Don't hide anymore, okay? I have to go now." After this incident, he was even more certain that Chinyu had feelings for him, but now she was Yunshi's girlfriend, and he was conflicted. He went to the bar, stared at the clock all afternoon, and finally came to a conclusion. "I will respect the boundaries and return to my original path," waiting for her to make the first move. She suggested breaking up with her boyfriend of 10 years, but his words were like adding salt to a wound. "I know you were with Mo Ling at the printing house all night the other day. Don't tell me nothing happened. Are you doubting me?" Chinyu couldn't believe that after 10 years of being together, he thought of her like that. It seemed that suggesting a breakup was the right choice. She still wanted to hold on, saying she wouldn't have any better options if she left him, but Chinyu had decided that they didn't need to continue anymore. However, Yunshi was very confident in himself, thinking Chinyu was just sulking and would soon realize who the right choice was. He didn't know that this time, Chinyu was determined to break up with him and tell her parents directly. But her father had already accepted Yunshi as his son-in-law and thought he was very good. "If Chinyu doesn't go to Yunshi, apologize, and make up, then I don't have a daughter like you." In contrast, Feng Qi, hearing about her breakup, thought it was the best decision of her life. This time, she was determined to break up with Yunshi. She looked up and saw Boss Missouri approaching. He had overheard their entire conversation. He immediately gave Feng Qi leave so she could stay with her friend. His clear intention was obvious. Feng Qi racked her brain. She knew who the friend he was talking about was, of course. It was Chinyu, whom he missed the most. She even relayed Boss Mo's exact words to Chinyu. Chinyu truly couldn't believe that such a cold and heartless man could have a caring side. He took Chinyu to the park to relax, and they strolled and shopped, and Chinyu's mood gradually improved. Letting go of all work matters, this time being with Boss Missouri was very comfortable, a feeling she had never experienced when she was with Yunshi. Meanwhile, Yunshi couldn't wait for Chinyu to come and reconcile, so he personally went to the company to find her. Even though Chinyu repeatedly told him, "We're over," he wouldn't accept it. "Are you still angry? Haven't I apologized enough? Isn't it better if we solve problems together, just like before?" Seeing this scene, Boss Missouri became jealous. His attitude towards Chinyu completely changed. When she offered him food, he didn't accept it. Annoyed, Qingyu gave it to Wang Ji and said it tasted delicious. Wang Ji, I thought you were on a diet, then turned and told Qingyu that she was slow, indecisive, and lacked determination in her work. Aren't you tired? Boss Mo's unpredictable moods and veiled words continued. Isn't it even more tiring? I really don't understand why your attitude was so different yesterday and today. Sometimes men get more furiously jealous than women. Meanwhile, Qingyu, in defiance of her father, officially moved out of her house. This decision of hers unintentionally spurred the next phase of her relationship. Her younger brother and Fang Qi came together to help her pack, and then they held a party. However, Boss Missouri, working at home, found the noise unbearable. He couldn't concentrate on work and couldn't even sleep. At this point, Qingyu received a complaint from the next-door neighbor about her making noise, asking her to quiet down. Unexpectedly, as soon as Qingyu entered her house and sat down, the real estate agent arrived, and the neighbor complained that she was littering in the public area. I'll go clean it up right away. When Qingyu went to clean up the trash, the next-door neighbor turned out to be Boss Missouri. Indeed, the more she wanted to avoid him, the more she couldn't escape. After half a day of chaos, it turned out he was the one who complained about General Manager Qingyu. Every time he appeared, he was different from everyone else, and Boss Mo's neighbors were not easy to deal with. Boss Missouri was secretly happy. It seemed their fate had arrived, and there was no escaping it. Qingyu was right next door to him. Wasn't that convenient for him? But he quickly changed his mind. Early in the morning, at the company entrance, he saw Yun, she coming to find Qingyu again, and he even gave her a car with a license plate that was their dating anniversary. Truly thoughtful. Seeing the girl he liked being clung to by someone else, the director walked over without saying a word. Why does lawyer Yin have to force people? Do you want to manage our private affairs too? But now it's working hours. There's no private matter. You're a lawyer. You should be careful with your words and actions. If you don't like the car, you can change it, but our 10 years of relationship can't be easily shaken. Only we are the most suitable for each other. Actually, this sentence was for Boss Missouri to hear, and he didn't give up easily. In a blink of an eye, he placed a bouquet of flowers in front of Qingyu, but she told her assistant to throw the flowers in the trash. After that, he asked Qingyu's father to pressure her so that the two could talk things over, resolve their conflict, and then get married. Qingyu, however, clearly told her father, I've already said it very clearly. We've broken up. How many more times do you want me to say it? Besides, I'm grown up now and have my own thoughts. These words of hers almost drove her father mad. But Yinshi told him, don't worry, my marriage with Qingyu won't disappoint you, uncle. Only then did her father's anger subside. But the reality was that he kept texting Qingyu to apologize, but received no reply from her. He was so annoyed that he advised himself not to be so serious. If it's time to let go, then let go. Why should I let go? I've never admitted defeat, and I won't lose this time either. It's unclear if he truly loved Qingyu or just wanted to compete with Boss Missouri, but the truth proved he was about to lose. Qingyu walked alone in the rain, her father's words echoing in her ears. Tell me, how did I raise a child who doesn't know how to strive like you? At this moment, Boss Missouri appeared with an umbrella. He always brought warmth when she was most helpless. Seeing her always make him so disheveled, Boss Missouri made up his mind. He wants to officially pursue Qingyu and asked her to meet him at 9 p.m. tomorrow night at the bar. If she already has an answer in her heart, she should come find him. The next day, he arrived at the bar early and asked the manager for the best spot. He also brought a limited edition necklace, preparing everything meticulously, just waiting for Qingyu to arrive. While singing, he occasionally looked towards the door, but in the end, the door closed, and there was no sign of Qingyu. Furthermore, when Qingyu saw him again, she acted like a stranger, not even bothering to greet him. Boss Missouri pushed Wang Ji away. He pulled Qingyu to a secluded place and asked her what she meant, why she didn't come last night. But Qingyu reverted to her old self, wanting to keep her distance from him. Boss Missouri couldn't understand what went wrong and had to pull a friend to play with to vent his emotions. What's the reason why a person who was originally normal suddenly changed? Too many choices, too many comparisons. The moment she uttered these words, he lost all confidence. But in a flash, he saw a missed call from Qingyu and, disregarding everything, rushed out to find her in a drunken state. Hey, young man, do you know her? I don't know her. I know him. Hey, you there, don't go. The staff pulled him back. They could understand young men arguing, but for a girl drinking like this, they should just take her home. Boss Missouri was forced to take her home. Qingyu, fueled by alcohol, went into a drunken rage. You're so handsome. It's a pity I can only admire you from afar. In reality, she was even more upset than Boss Missouri. She had put on beautiful makeup and arrived at the bar before 9 p.m., only to find a calendar on the table. Siyu came and told her, this is Boss Mo's flower picking manual, meaning all the women he had ever interacted with were listed on it. And the calendar said she was an employee who pretended to be prim and proper, stuck between maturity and childishness, disliked challenges, and habitually ran away. So that's how Boss Missouri saw her. Luckily, she found out before making a mistake. She sadly went to Fiancé to drink away her sorrows, getting so drunk that Boss Missouri had to take her home. It wasn't until the next morning that she woke up and realized this wasn't her home. Luckily, Boss Missouri wasn't home, but seeing the messy living room, she knew it was all her masterpiece. She picked up her belongings, planning to leave, when she saw the breakfast Boss Missouri prepared for her on the table, telling her to clean the house. She quickly sneaked away, but bumping into Boss Missouri at the company, she nervously dropped her files on the ground. "Manager you, are you sober now?" "Thank you. Boss Missouri manager you is too polite." The girl he liked was having a meal with someone else, and this man was even handsomer than him. He immediately drove to block them, saying he had an urgent matter that needed her attention. "So, Chin-Yu, let's talk another time." Unexpectedly, he even called her by her first name. Boss Missouri was livid. He used the excuse of cleaning to disrupt Chin-Yu's meal. Chin-Yu had no choice but to get in the car. His house really was a mess because of her. Actually, Boss Missouri telling her to clean was just an excuse. He still wanted to know why Chin-Yu stood him up. "I want safety, and you're a trap." Chin-Yu had only said half when she received a call. Yun-Shi's mother was sick in the hospital, couldn't eat anything, and only wanted to see Chin-Yu. Moreover, Yun-Shi begged her not to mention the breakup for now, worried his mother wouldn't be able to accept it. After visiting, they coincidentally ran into Boss Missouri and CU at the hospital. At the same time, Boss Missouri also saw them. CU, seeing an opportunity, immediately approached the two and asked if they were doing premarital checkups. "We came for a health checkup with Aunt Yin." Yun-Shi also took the opportunity to ask her what was wrong with her leg. "Accidentally stumbled during my date with Mo Ling earlier." Boss Missouri didn't refute her words, which made Chin-Yu misunderstand even more. She thought he was a player, trying to pursue her while also dating CU. But she didn't know that this was just CU's one-sided affection. Boss Missouri had already left the hospital exit and called Wang Ji to go with CU. But Chin-Yu's mind kept drifting back, thinking about the intimate way they looked at each other at the hospital. She had unconsciously fallen for Boss Missouri. However, Yun-Shi's mother wanted a family photo before her surgery. This was an elder's wish, so she had to agree, especially since she had always treated her very well. But this scene was witnessed by Boss Missouri, who thought they were taking wedding photos, and his heart completely turned cold. At the same time, Chin-Yu also saw him. She felt completely uncomfortable but couldn't explain it to him, only able to watch him leave. Now, the misunderstanding was huge. Coincidentally, the ratings for the show hosted by Chin-Yu were very high, so the boss wanted to organize a company team-building event and asked Chin-Yu to inform Boss Missouri. This was a good opportunity to explain the reason for the photo shoot. "Today I'm leaving. Manager Yu wants to say that taking photos with her fiancé was just a help, and then she said she likes doing charity work. You don't need to report everything to me." The word she originally wanted to say had to be swallowed back. She could only ask him if he was going to the company's team-building event. Unexpectedly, he refused. Very busy, no time. Fang Qi, knowing they were going on a team-building trip, prepared a beautiful dress for her, hoping she would return triumphantly from this team-building experience. Out loud, she said it was too revealing to wear, but she put it on anyway. After all, it's a gift from my best friend, I can't let her down. But in her heart, she still hoped Boss Missouri would see her post, but there was no message. Disappointed, she planned to go out for a walk, but bumped into Boss Missouri opening the door about to go out. "Why are you here? Why can't I be here? Didn't you say you weren't interested? I'm here for a business survey." At this moment, Fang Qi sent a message. "You absolutely must show off your figure and crush everyone at the team-building event." Boss Missouri overheard these words, making Chin-Yu freeze. Hearing the laughter of colleagues nearby, she immediately pushed Boss Missouri into the room, fearing they would be discovered and misunderstood. Manager Yu just had photos taken with her ex-boyfriend, and now she's seducing another man. Wanting to cast her net wide like that? Am I not one of the victims too? If he hadn't said that, it would have been fine, but when he did, Chin-Yu immediately got angry. "I'm not like you. When I say we've broken up, we've broken up. Clearly, I want to take photos because Aunt Yin was about to have surgery, fulfilling my duty as a niece. But you have a whole list of names in a notebook. I'm just a supposedly prim and proper employee in there." Now Boss Missouri, he finally knew the reason for her anger. But before he could explain, CU rushed over. It was precisely because of her appearance this time that it pushed them to confirm their feelings. That evening, Chin-Yu heard CU explain the origin of the notebook. It was just something the band scribbled on. I even drew a few lines on it. The next morning, as they were preparing for their next step, repeated doorbell rings interrupted them. It was CU, the girl who liked Boss Missouri. Boss Missouri was about to open the door when Chin-Yu stopped him. She felt it was better to avoid more trouble, especially since they had just confirmed their relationship last night, and it wasn't the time to go public. She told Boss Missouri to hide in the closet first, but he, as a director, wouldn't do such secretive things. Qin Yu could only use this method to force him to give in. No next time? Okay. Only then did he reluctantly hide inside. Yu went in and opened the bathroom door to check if anyone was inside. Boss Missouri disappeared. He didn't come back all night. I don't know where he went. Do you know where he is? He wasn't led away by some vixen, was he? She then wanted to call Boss Missouri, but Qin Yu immediately coughed loudly to cover the sound. Or perhaps Wang Ji called, saying it found Boss Missouri. Seeing her leave, Qin Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Manager Yu, are you trying to deny what happened after that? You can't tell Yu that you're the vixen, can you? Boss Missouri came out of the closet and asked Qin Yu to attend a cocktail party with him the day after tomorrow. Qin Yu felt it wasn't yet time to go public with their relationship, but Yu announced herself as his dance partner. I already have a dance partner. He politely and directly refused her in front of everyone. Actually, their relationship progressed so quickly thanks to her help. The company was looking for a building, and she ignored her injured foot and wanted to follow him, also unintentionally telling Qin Yu that the notebook was just scribbled on by the band and had nothing to do with him. Qin Yu learned the truth and immediately changed her view of Boss Missouri. At the same time, that evening, Boss Missouri also confessed his feelings to her. Qin Yu did not reject his intimate gestures. Instead, she moved closer. Boss Missouri finally softened Qin Yu's heart with his genuine affection and practical actions. Afterward, the two watched the starry sky together. Boss Missouri took out the necklace he hadn't given her before and personally put it on Qin Yu, hugging her tightly from behind. After confirming their relationship, they decided not to go public for the time being, still trying to maintain a professional relationship. However, during lunch, they couldn't help but interact a little, and just then, Yu saw them. She was so furious that she gritted her teeth. She was about to go in, but accidentally fell. Boss Missouri just happened to walk in and make a phone call. As soon as he left, Yu limped in. She now knew that Boss Missouri had been in Qin Yu's room that day. If she already knew, Qin Yu wouldn't hide it anymore. Yu couldn't understand why Boss Missouri, whom she had pursued for so long, still chose another woman. Angrily, she left in disappointment. Wang Ji, who always liked her, went to comfort Qin Yu when he saw her sadness. Unexpectedly, their unofficial relationship was discovered on the very first day, so they decided not to hide it anymore. They planned to attend the cocktail party together, and Qin Yu even wore the gown Boss Missouri prepared for her. However, before they could even leave, they received a call. Yunshi's mother's condition had suddenly worsened, and she was undergoing emergency surgery. Qin Yu had no choice but to give up the cocktail party and called Boss Missouri. Yunshi's mother suddenly relapsed and is unable to attend the cocktail party. Having prepared meticulously only to miss it, Yu seized the opportunity to confess her feelings, but Boss Missouri firmly rejected her. Yu couldn't hold back anymore. Qin Yu is just an office worker. She's nothing but a pretty face. What can she do for you? Boss Missouri wouldn't allow anyone to belittle the girl he liked. She's not just beautiful, she's also capable. For my woman, my love is enough. I don't need your evaluation of her. But he didn't expect that when he brought supper to visit Qin Yu, he would witness a heartbreaking scene. Can you stay with me forever? Qin Yu, let's reconcile. He angrily turned and left immediately, not bothering to attend the party. He rushed to visit Qin Yu, only to find this scene. But he still didn't forget to call Wang Ji and tell him to find Yu, because she didn't know Wang Ji liked her, which he considered an opportunity for him. Even now, Yu remains stubborn. I can bring in investments and find projects for him. What can Qin Yu promise him? Look, isn't his head waterlogged? Why didn't he choose me? But these things weren't important to Boss Missouri. What mattered was whether that person was genuinely the one he liked. Meanwhile, the nurse brought supper to Qin Yu. Someone just brought it and left. Guessing it must have been Boss Missouri, she immediately called him. Are you angry? To say I'm not angry would be a lie. You bailed on such an important party. You definitely need to find a way to compensate me. But I want to see your sincerity. Only then did Qin Yu's heart stop squeezing. Actually, this was all a plan orchestrated by Yunshi. He saw Boss Missouri coming, so he intentionally did that to provoke him, not wanting to see the two of them together. So he teamed up with Boss Han to set a trap for Boss Missouri. He stole my stuff, I'll make him pay back double. Knowing that Boss Missouri was acquiring Taijiang, he asked an acquaintance to falsify data. Once this was successful, Boss Missouri would be expelled from the company. Later, as he was organizing the Taijiang files, he felt something was wrong. He immediately called Wang Ji and asked him to cross-reference the files. But we've already cross-referenced them carefully before, there's no problem with the files. Now is a crucial time. We can't afford any oversight. Finally, Boss Missouri suggested a person to him. Perhaps she could help. Boss Missouri hesitated slightly, but thinking of the company, he still arranged to meet Tang Shi, who was his ex-girlfriend who abandoned him 3 years ago. Long time no see. Boss Missouri didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. I need the data on Taijiang that you have as a condition for exchange. After this is done, the top company will yield 5% of its shares to you. If that's the case, the top company's sincerity isn't enough, is it? The condition is up to you to name. My condition is you. Hearing her words, Boss Missouri stood up, wanting to leave. He'd rather not have the data than cooperate with her. In reality, this girl was here because she wanted to pursue Boss Missouri again. Boss Missouri had gone through so much trouble to pursue Qingyu. He wouldn't let her interfere. Now Boss Missouri had enemies on all sides. On one side was Yun Shi, who was eager to overthrow him. I want to let him know that he shouldn't touch things that don't belong to him. On the other side was his ex-girlfriend, who was determined to pursue him again. Despite this, it couldn't stop him and Qingyu from dating. The two went to the beach to play, and in the morning, they even watched the sunrise together. Their feelings grew stronger day by day, but he didn't expect to see Tang Shi in the office the next morning at the company. I clearly refused her yesterday, but she still wouldn't give up and followed me to the company. Boss Missouri also said directly that if it was about work, they could talk, but otherwise, he wouldn't entertain her. We haven't seen each other in a long time. Do you really want to kick me out? But Boss Missouri wasn't in the mood to chat with her. Tang, she didn't give up. Instead, she took out a tie and offered it to him, intending to put it on him. At this moment, Fang Qi pushed the door open and walked in. Our company doesn't entertain idle people like you. Boss Missouri, am I an idle person? She even told Boss Missouri to manage his subordinates properly and asked if he didn't hear her. She told Tang Shi to leave. At this point, Tang Shi knew better and left, but she bumped into Qingyu in the company lobby. The two could be considered to have met by chance, but at this moment, neither knew the other's identity. Meanwhile, Fang Qi couldn't stand it anymore. Using her identity as Qingyu's best friend, she warned Boss Missouri. Qingyu is pure and straightforward. She's tough on the outside, but soft on the inside. She's absolutely no match for your ex-girlfriend. If you do anything wrong to her and make her sad, even if you're my superior, I will absolutely not forgive you. Boss Missouri could control himself, but not others. That evening, the two had made plans for Qingyu to come to the bar tomorrow night for a surprise. Qingyu also put on beautiful makeup and arrived at the bar early. The manager even reserved a VIP seat for her, which Boss Missouri traded for many free performances. As soon as she sat down, Tang Shi appeared. Are you also here to watch the performance? Yes, I'm here to watch someone very important to me perform. Me too. But they didn't know that the important person they were talking about was the same person. At this moment, Boss Mo's band of 3 came out from backstage. Seeing Tang Shi there, one of them immediately said this place didn't welcome her. Boss Missouri even went to Qingyu in front of Tang Shi and introduced her to everyone. This person will be a member of our band from now on, and she's also my girlfriend. At this point, Tang Shi finally knew that Boss Missouri had a girlfriend, but she didn't give up and even told Qingyu I invited him to join this band. I can't believe that after so many years, he's still persistent with our band. Thank you for taking care of him when I wasn't here. Qingyu immediately understood her veiled words. I should be thanking you instead. Thank you for protecting him so well before I came along. The director took his girlfriend out to eat with friends. His ex-girlfriend suddenly called, asking to discuss work in 30 minutes, otherwise the project would be ruined. He had no choice but to leave Qingyu to meet his ex-girlfriend, abruptly telling her to take her time eating and he would be back when he was done. But Qingyu ate until midnight and still didn't see him. Her friends wanted to take her home, but she refused. Meanwhile, Boss Missouri finished his work and was about to leave when his ex-girlfriend's asthma suddenly flared up. Boss Missouri frantically searched his bag for her medicine, but she said she didn't have any. Boss Missouri, panicking, wanted to buy medicine for her, but she pulled him back, so he could only unbutton her shirt to help her breathe. At this moment, Qingyu arrived at the company and saw this scene, but she wasn't stunned. Instead, she rushed over, pushed Boss Missouri away, and tore open Tang Shi's shirt. Boss Missouri shyly turned around, unbuttoning each button like this is slow. This is faster. They thought this girl had some clever tricks, but she only wanted to use her weakness to cling on. If you like acting so much, I'll leave the stage to you. And then he pulled Boss Missouri by the tie, and the two left together. Even seeing them trust each other so much, this girl still didn't give up. The manager told her to stop, saying she hadn't done anything yet. She again used work as an excuse to meet Boss Missouri, even ordering his favorite dish. She insisted Boss Missouri help her take care of a dog because her asthma hadn't fully recovered, and having a dog nearby wasn't good for her. That way, she would have a reason to see Boss Missouri every day. But she never talked about work, and Boss Missouri stood up, wanting to leave. Tai Zhongside has been waiting for 3 days. I knew it. As long as I'm useful to you, you won't be able to refuse me. But she was challenging Boss Mo's limits. Boss Missouri would rather not cooperate with her and keep his distance. Seeing that Boss Missouri didn't like this trick, she immediately changed her strategy and went to find Qingyu, showing Qingyu photos of her and Boss Missouri from college. Yu didn't understand her intention. You say you were part of Boss Mo's entire youth, but you don't know anything at all. Yu absolutely wouldn't let this small matter affect their relationship and advise her not to live in the past anymore. We all have to look forward. However, she remained confident. There's no corner that can't be turned, only a hammer that doesn't try hard enough. This time, she didn't hide it anymore and told Boss Missouri she wanted to get back together with him. If you choose the wrong goal, you might very well hit a dead end. Fangchi heard from Wang Ji that the girl from last time was here again. So she invited her friend to stroll around the mall and deliberately chose a green outfit for her, implying that she was afraid Yu wouldn't notice. She also picked out a pair of green shoes for her. What she wanted to express, Yu knew perfectly well. Why isn't this hat green? Tang, she went to the top company. Do you know her? Of course I know her. I even told her that the two had fought several rounds already. That girl is just like that. This time, it's mainly to buy her something because I accidentally ripped her shirt last time. However, Fangchi still reminded her, men will never forget their moonlight, so you have to be vigilant if there's any fluctuation. As they were talking about Tang Shi, Yu received a message from her, inviting her to meet at the archery range. Coincidentally, Yu also had to return something to her. This girl refused to accept it. From childhood to adulthood, she only wears clothes she chooses herself. But Yu also wouldn't give up. If something has been given, it's a done deal. If you don't like it, you can throw it away. Also, this time you asked to meet me, what's the matter? Why don't you just say it directly? She immediately said that Yu's appearance was decent, but her IQ was worrisome. And her IQ is even worse. I don't know what Boss Missouri likes about her. She weighed the situation, considering the pros and cons. What's the result? You gain some, you lose some? I think you understand better than I do. The seemingly light remark left Tang, she's speechless. She could only talk about her past with Boss Missouri. Do you know he always liked wearing black suits? Because that's the most suitable color I chose for him. Just you wait and see how I win him back. If you truly understand him, Ling, why would you say these things to me? The result is already very clear. The director was having a candlelight dinner with his girlfriend when his ex-girlfriend suddenly called. Boss Missouri glanced at the phone, then handed it to Yu for her to answer, as he had nothing to say to his ex-girlfriend. So Yu answered the call and put it on speakerphone. This business trip requires an overnight stay. Remember to bring clothes to change into. Yes, Boss Tang, I'll prepare for him. Hearing Yu's voice, she immediately hung up. The two of them had to go on a business trip. Yu didn't know this was also a sudden decision. If you mind, I cannot go. Yu wasn't the kind of person who didn't understand the gravity of things. If it was work, she couldn't stop him. But although she said she didn't mind, she still had to find Fangchi to confide in. I originally wanted to personally make a birthday gift for him, but he ended up going on a business trip with Tang Shi. It's his birthday, and you're giving him a cup? A cup a lifetime. If you don't understand, don't say anything. Leaving the two of them alone, she still felt a little uneasy. Yu's worries were not unfounded. Tang Shi wanted to use this business trip to close the distance with Boss Missouri. She believed that this time, the two of them would reconcile. But she didn't expect Yu to travel thousands of miles to find Boss Missouri and surprise him. Boss Missouri even left his client to greet Yu. She couldn't hold back anymore. Boss Chin's time is precious. Why don't we discuss work first? After Boss Missouri left, she subtly gave a friendly reminder. Surprises can easily turn into frights. Yu didn't believe her divisive words. She went to find a front desk manager, wanting to organize Boss Mo's birthday at this hotel. Meanwhile, in his next work task, Boss Chin insisted on having a sword-fighting duel with Tang Shi. Boss Chin, why don't you let me take a few moves with you? But Boss Chin didn't agree, so Tang Shi had to proactively challenge him. Due to intense exertion, her asthma flared up. This time, however, it truly scared Boss Missouri. He immediately took her to the hospital. Boss Missouri knew very well that Tang Shi did this to help him get clients, so he stayed at the hospital with her. As for Yu, who was organizing his birthday, she waited from morning till night, but he never showed up. Looking at the two cups she personally made, with their names engraved on them. This was the birthday gift she prepared for Boss Missouri. Fortunately, Boss Missouri still saw Yu's message. He rushed over and explained the reason to Yu. It's better to come than not at all. Yu wasn't angry at all. Instead, she sang a song for him. Even though it was a bit off-key, Boss Missouri liked it. The two hugged each other until Yu said the words happy birthday. Boss Mo's expression changed, but Yu didn't notice at all and continued singing the birthday song for him. It wasn't until he saw the cake that he said, I'm too tired today, I want to go back and rest. As he left, he accidentally dropped and broke the birthday fruit that Yu made for him, making him look at the broken cup as if it were pieces of her heart. Boss Missouri ran into the restroom to compose himself, then went back to look for Yu, but she was nowhere to be found. Looking at the broken cup, he called Yu and found out she had already gone home. He assured Yu that he would definitely explain everything to her after dealing with things on his end, but Yu couldn't wait. She went to the bar to find the manager and learned that on Boss Mo's 18th birthday, which was also the day he took his piano exam, his father was taken away by the police. Not long after, his mother suffered from depression. So, since he was 18, he stopped celebrating his birthday. But he had never told Chin-Yu any of this, so she didn't know. Boss Missouri returned from his business trip and, without even going home, rushed to the company to find Chin-Yu to explain. Chin-Yu learned the truth and was no longer angry. She even prepared a lavish meal to congratulate him on getting a big client. However, since childhood, she had never cooked fish and accidentally dropped it on the floor. Boss Missouri had to step in and help. It still had to be the handsome Boss Missouri, who also knew his way around the kitchen. In no time, a table full of dinner was ready. Before they started eating, Boss Missouri told her an old story about how celebrating his birthday didn't bring him joy, but only painful memories. And he said, "I'm sorry to Chin-Yu." Chin-Yu gave him a ray of light, hoping it could shine on 18-year-old Boss Missouri. But in Boss Mo's heart, Chin-Yu was that very ray of light. The two resolved their misunderstanding and went back to how they were before. But Tang, she was like a lingering ghost. "Today I got important information that benefits you." Came on a trip. When Boss Missouri drove there, he found it wasn't a workplace, but rather Tang. She had put effort into recreating their past memories, even cooking his favorite beef porridge and personally feeding him. Have you had enough? What do you want to do to destroy each other? Or do you want to pretend everything never happened and start over? Tang, she thought he was just saying those things in anger. Otherwise, Boss Missouri wouldn't have come all this way just for her phone call. Boss Missouri said he came this time to break up with her. Some things should be let go. Why should I let go? Can you really forgive me completely? He hadn't forgotten their past, but it was because of that past that he learned to cherish the person in front of him. It seemed their love was solid and couldn't be overturned. This time, Tang, she truly had to let go. She had done everything she could, but she still couldn't hold onto Boss Missouri. So she sent a message to Boss Missouri, asking him to have one last farewell dinner. At this moment, he was with Chin-Yu, and he was making another set of glasses for her as compensation for the broken one the other day. Unexpectedly, Boss Missouri was so thoughtful. She even personally chose a bottle of wine and asked Boss Missouri to take it with him, feeling that a farewell should be done properly. After the meal, Tang, she left, deciding to start a new life. Without the ex-girlfriend's interference, one would think their relationship would be smooth sailing. However, Yun Shi, who was always behind the scenes plotting to sabotage them, immediately found out about Boss Mo's family background and sent the information to his teacher, who was also Chin-Yu's father. At 18, after his mom passed away, his father went to jail. As a professor, he absolutely refused to accept someone from such a family background and firmly opposed their relationship. Her mother, however, thought the young man was handsome. What good is handsome? Is our Su family short of an excellent son-in-law? With her father's firm stance, Chin-Yu could only temporarily avoid the storm and think of a long-term plan. Fortunately, her younger brother called, saying that she broke up because Yun Shi cheated. At this moment, Yun Shi still didn't know that his teacher still wanted to match him with Chin-Yu. Instead, her father took out a fountain pen, which was a gift from Yun Shi, and returned it, saying he no longer had a student like him and wouldn't acknowledge a cheating son-in-law. Yun Shi still tried to argue that it was just a temporary oversight and asked his teacher for another chance. Her father said he had to bear the consequences himself, but Yun Shi would absolutely not give up so easily. Chin-Yu was still sad because her father didn't accept Boss Missouri. Fong Shi gave her an idea, telling her to go home, install a camera, then pretend to be sick and send a video of Boss Missouri diligently taking care of her to her father. Perhaps that way, her father would accept him as a son-in-law. Due to using too much force and acting too poorly, the result was that Boss Missouri discovered it. Tell me what's wrong. Isn't it because you want your father to see how I take care of you when you're sick, so he won't have a biased view of me anymore? Have you talked to your father about me yet? Yeah. It seemed the conversation wasn't pleasant. Chin-Yu comforted him. You're so excellent. Dad will definitely acknowledge you. Boss Missouri told her not to worry. He had everything under control. That evening, he arranged to meet Chin-Yu's father. Her mother, seeing her future son-in-law diligently come to Chin-Yu's place for dinner, insisted on meeting Boss Missouri. Chin-Yu called him, and he said he was working overtime. In reality, he was meeting his future father-in-law. Although people say ginger gets spicier with age, after just a few sentences, Boss Missouri had conquered her father. The two drank until they were drunk and called each other brothers. Let me tell you, little brother, her mother quickly received a call from her drunken husband, telling her to come home immediately and saying she no longer thought highly of Mo Ling. At least Mo Ling didn't hug a street lamp and sleep. Just as her mother left, Chin-Yu received a call that Boss Missouri was drunk. When she rushed over, she found him hugging a street lamp and sleeping. It was truly a comical and frustrating scene. She had just praised him to her mother for his good taste in wine, but seeing him like this, she couldn't praise him at all. But Boss Mo's efforts with that drink weren't in vain. Since last night, his father's perception had changed. He personally brought lunch to Qingyu, and coincidentally, she was in a meeting. Her father couldn't wait for her, so he left first. After the meeting ended, when Qingyu saw the lunchbox on the table, she immediately called her mother, thinking her mother brought it for her. Her father, hearing it was Qingyu's call, immediately approached. "Dad, I'm listening, Comrade Su. Bring that Mo Ling boy back to me." The young man, visiting his future in-laws for the first time, was so nervous he barely dared to breathe, let alone speak first. "Today, our Su family is having a reunion dinner. What are you doing here? Didn't Dad invite him?" Her father then asked him when he planned to finalize the wedding date and how many children he wanted after marriage. A series of questions made Boss Missouri unsure how to answer, so he could only glance at Qingyu for help. Her mother couldn't watch anymore. "Clearly, you like little Mo. Why do you have to act like this?" In reality, he was just putting on a show. While Boss Missouri was in the restroom, is this aura still okay? Fang Qi and Su Wei also arrived, and the whole family happily enjoyed the reunion dinner. After more than 10 years, Boss Missouri finally felt the warmth of a family. Everything was good. But before a storm, the sky is always quiet. Boss Missouri, due to his outstanding work ability, was officially promoted to partner of the company. The boss organized a celebration party for him. Qingyu appeared in a beautiful white gown. Since their relationship wasn't public, Boss Missouri could only watch from afar. Boss Missouri invited her to the company rooftop, and the two looked at the stars together to celebrate his promotion. Qingyu prepared a gift for him, an album she made herself, containing photos from when they first met until now. This was the most precious gift he had ever received. At the same time, Boss Missouri also gave her the bracelet, the only item his mother left behind, and the two embraced. However, someone couldn't stand seeing them happy. They secretly took photos of them from afar. The next morning, the two, unaware of what happened, were still being intimate. Boss Missouri received a phone call, and his face changed color. Rumors were spreading online that a senior manager of the top company was involved in a money-for-sex transaction with a female employee of an investment company, and there were photos of the two. Qingyu felt that at this moment, they should avoid the storm, but Boss Missouri didn't think so. The two held hands and walked into the company, but the boss ordered him to quickly resolve this matter. Now, investors of the company were withdrawing their investments one after another. If he didn't handle it well, forget about being promoted to partner, he might even lose his job. Boss Missouri guaranteed that he would definitely resolve this matter, and if the company suffered losses, he would bear the responsibility alone. Mo Ling knew very well that someone was behind this, pulling strings. So he went to see Yun Shi. If you dig at someone else's corner, you have to pay the price. The one who has to pay the price is definitely not me. So what about others? He provoked Boss Missouri, and Yun Shi threw dirty water on him however he wanted, but if he hurt the people around him, that was a different matter. At the same time, Qingyu was also implicated. The boss asked her to take temporary leave to avoid the storm. It was fine if she didn't work, but she worried about Boss Missouri. She also heard Fang Qi say that this matter was too complicated. She decided to advance and retreat with Boss Missouri. Her father came to see Boss Missouri, bringing him ginseng soup he had stewed. He told him that no matter what difficulties he faced, they would always be his family. These few words motivated Boss Missouri, and he vowed to take good care of Qingyu. Back home, he found his bed full of handbags. Did you set up a battle array? Qingyu said she had too many things, and her house couldn't hold them all. Boss Missouri understood what she wanted, but how could he let a girl go bankrupt helping him? Next, Boss Missouri continued to meet clients every day, while Qingyu stayed home practicing singing and asked the manager to invite Boss Missouri to the bar. She personally played the piano and sang the song Boss Missouri had written for her to everyone. After singing, she confessed her feelings to Boss Missouri right in front of everyone. Mo Ling, will you agree to be my companion for the rest of my life? I'm sorry, I can't agree. Qingyu didn't expect him to refuse. Everyone was stunned, thinking he was crazy, and comforted Qingyu. Normally, men propose to women. Don't overthink it. Maybe he has other thoughts. But as soon as she finished speaking, Boss Missouri said he had an urgent matter and had to leave first. Don't worry about him, I'm fine. Qingyu said she was fine, but when she returned home, she went online to search why her boyfriend refused her proposal. The answer she got was that he didn't want to take responsibility for deceiving feelings. Even so, she still stewed soup and waited for Boss Missouri to come home. Boss Missouri also explained the reason for his refusal to her. Facing such a huge problem now, he didn't want Qingyu to suffer with him. He wanted to wait until the problem was resolved so that they could be together without any worries. But Qingyu felt that if there were difficulties, they should face them together. Finally, Boss Missouri used his strength to solve the company's difficulties and even secured a large investor. However, the condition for the exchange was that Boss Missouri had to move to that company and work abroad for 3 years. But he didn't tell Qingyu about this. It was just that the danger had been resolved, and Qingyu was overjoyed, deciding they would celebrate that evening. However, she quickly learned from Siyu that Boss Missouri had agreed to work abroad for 3 years to keep the investor. Only then did Qingyu learn the truth, and the celebration dinner turned into a farewell meal. She blamed him for working abroad without discussing it with her first. Before, they had said that if there were difficulties, they had to face them together, but he made the decision on his own. Qingyu felt they should calm down. She was troubled and wanted to find Feng Qi to confide in, but she received a call from her boss, telling her to come to Haicheng to discuss cooperation. She had to leave immediately. She had just left when Boss Missouri called, asking where Qingyu went. "You're his girlfriend. Is it okay for you to ask me? As my subordinate, you have an obligation to truthfully answer my questions." Feng Qi said, "Aren't you leaving the country soon?" She's both heartbroken and sad, so she decided to leave this city and accepted the boss's offer to go to Haicheng. She had only said half when Boss Missouri couldn't sit still and chased after them, only to find her chatting with a handsome guy. He immediately stepped forward to declare his ownership. "There's someone at home. Why didn't you say so earlier?" A gentleman doesn't steal from others. The young man sensibly left. Qingyu was still angry and didn't want to pay attention to him. Boss Missouri didn't give up and chased after her. "The matter of me going abroad for 3 years hasn't been finalized yet. I'm trying to find a solution." Hearing that, Qingyu's attitude softened. Yin Shi's plan failed, and he went to the bar to drink away his sorrows. The manager comforted him. "Perhaps some things were never meant to be yours. People must know when to let go." The next day, he went to see Qingyu to apologize. "It seems I always owe you an apology." Qingyu accepted and hoped he wouldn't stay stuck in one place forever, but looked forward. Everything would get better. It was then that he truly realized he had lost Qingyu a long time ago. Very quickly, Qingyu received a message from Boss Missouri inviting her to meet at the bar that evening. "I should go, I have to go." She knew Boss Missouri was about to say goodbye to her, but she didn't expect Boss Missouri to invite everyone. He knelt on one knee, took out the diamond ring he had prepared earlier, and proposed to Qingyu. It turned out he had found a solution and didn't have to work abroad for 3 years anymore. "Qingyu, will you agree to marry me?" Of course. Everyone was happy for them. Boss Missouri put the ring on Qingyu's finger. After going through so many things, the two finally got together. This is where the story ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on more amazing videos. For now, goodbye and until next time.